What is up, y'all? It's your boy Steph, back with another reaction. And this time, we have Mr. Nightmare. 3 allegedly true paranormal horror stories. Mr. Nightmare hasn't uploaded in a while, so he just dropped this, just dropped it. When it comes to Mr. Nightmare, it's totally irregular for him to have anything less than 1 million views on his videos, because he's just so talented at what he does and how he makes his videos, the sound effects, the suspenseful, intense music and all that. So, hey, I'm bringing it to y'all fresh. Just dropped it probably about an hour ago, maybe 45 minutes. But hey, without further ado, let's get into it. I've seen this video before. The person stayed living in that house. Bullshit.
I'm 27 years old, living with my brother James in a house we share. Never had anything severely strange or abnormal happen to me in my life, but there was this one week that I experienced this strange series of events. It started on what I thought would be a normal night like any other. I was in the kitchen washing the dishes before getting ready for bed. Suddenly, a plastic cup came crashing to the floor, and the sound of it made me jump and spin around from the sink. I saw the blue plastic cup bounce a few times, then fall dead on the floor. This was one of the cups that sits up top the cabinet. I knew it had to have been sitting upright, though. I had no idea what kind of force could have knocked it off the cabinet. It made no logical sense. I picked it up and put it back on the cabinet. That wasn't the last strange event that night, though. While in bed with the blinds shut, there was suddenly a strange, very faint glow in my room. It came through the blinds. I flipped over onto my side and tried to peek under the crack at the bottom of the blinds.
I'm trying to get comfortable. My bad.
Honestly, as weird as it was, I was so comfortable in bed and was too lazy to go lift the blinds. I dismissed the light as something like a street light having a new bulb or something. I know, a little ridiculous.
Don't dismiss
shit. But at the time, I had no reason to suspect anything paranormal.
What? Okay.
The next day, I was home alone when James was at work. It was a dark, stormy day, and the house was constantly rumbling from the thunder. So when I heard a cup fall from the kitchen, I associated it with the thunder. I went to the kitchen and picked it up, and realized it was the same blue plastic cup I'd carefully put back on the cabinet yesterday.
That wasn't no coincidence.
There was no way thunder could have knocked it down from where it was. I put it on the counter and stood there, confused and a bit shaken, looking around the kitchen, not knowing what to think. As I was standing in the kitchen, I heard a creak in the floor above me. The room above me was actually my bedroom. I went to the stairs and called up for James, but I instantly remembered he wasn't home. Maybe it was the thunder shaking the whole house. But still, I had to check my room just for peace of mind. I went up the stairs to my room and turned on the lights, given that all the rooms in the house were dark due to the weather. My room is square-shaped with 2 big closets. The room was clear, as were the closets, so I shut the light and went back downstairs. That night, when James got home, I had a discussion with him about the strange events that had been taking place. He said he hadn't been aware of any of it. Still, nothing that happened up until that point was extremely unusual.
Yeah.
For the rest of the night, things were normal. I fell asleep with ease. I awoke at some off hour in the night. It was still dark. I checked my phone. It was 2 in the morning. I rolled back on my side and shut my eyes. When I heard the distinct sound of a finger tapping on a window, I could feel my heart in my throat. I didn't know why someone would be knocking at my window, but I didn't want to see who could be out there.
Hell no.
But for some reason, it took me that long to realize I was on the 2nd floor of the house. Therefore, nobody could be on the outside of my window. I pushed the sheets off my body and flipped to face the window.
You good?
There was no one standing there on the inside, though. So I lifted the blind, and there was no one outside either. Still, I knew that I heard what I heard, and I knew I hadn't been imagining or dreaming it. I ran to my brother's room and started freaking out. I don't know whether he believed me or not. Quite frankly, I don't think I'd believe me if I hadn't experienced it.
Right.
I slept in the living room that night, and it's been 3 weeks now without any paranormal incidents. I never believed in the supernatural until this happened.
You better move out. Y'all gotta learn how to start getting this shit on tape. Haunted as fuck.
I once took a road trip from New Hampshire to Florida. I had to stop at a hotel to sleep overnight when I was about halfway there. It was some old, somewhat dilapidated hotel that rested off the highway on a quiet road. There were like 2 cars in the parking lot, so there were definitely not a lot of guests. The lady at the front desk was very robotic.
For a reason.
Seemed bored with her job. She seemed to fit the atmosphere of the hotel perfectly. The lobby was full of tacky chairs and tables you'd expect to find put out on the curb. The wallpapers were all dated and equally tacky. Didn't matter though, I wasn't staying there for the luxury.
Right.
Just for the night and for the convenience. It was late when I checked in, so when I got in the room, all I did was take out my toothbrush and brush my teeth before jumping into the hotel bed. I turned out the lamp next to the bed and tried to go to sleep, not looking forward to the long day of driving I had ahead of me the next day. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. I looked at the bedside clock to be sure that it was almost midnight. I went to the door and looked through the peephole. Apparently the peephole didn't work though, because I couldn't see out into the hallway through it. All I saw was black. I looked down at the crack under the door, but didn't see any outlines of feet blocking the light. So I opened the door just a little bit to peek into the hallway. I didn't see anyone standing in front of the door. I opened it fully and then peeked down both sides of the hallway. It was clear. So I had to suddenly question if someone in this relatively vacant hotel was pranking me. I shut the door, locked it with the bolt this time, went to lay back down in the bed. But then it happened again, a knock at the door. This time I jumped out of the bed, ran to the door, and checked the peephole again. Shockingly, all I saw was the empty hallway outside. But it hit me. This time I could actually see through the peephole. I unbolted the door and opened it. No one. I looked down both sides of the hallway again, and there was no one. This was where I drew the line. I grabbed the key to the room and went to the lady at the front desk. I told her someone kept knocking on my door, and politely asked her to check the cameras to see who it could be. She said they didn't have cameras in the hallways.
Bullshit.
Her reaction also wasn't what I was hoping for. She seemed very calm and disconcerted with what I told her.
Because she's used to it.
She said in a calm voice there was only one other guest in the whole building. Then she just stared blankly at me. I'm not sure how she thought her response properly acknowledged my concern or what she expected me to say, but I could tell she wouldn't be of any help with the matter.
You need to
So
leave.
I left her and went back to my room.
Why?
I locked the door with a bolt again. This time I put on my headphones and put on one of those 10-hour sleep relaxation videos on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
This would not only help me get to sleep, but block out any possible future sounds from whoever was deciding to mess with me. And it worked. For a while, at least. Eventually, I flipped from my side to my back, just looked around the room. My head froze when I was staring at the corner. I sat up to try to get a closer look at what I thought I was seeing. I swear it looked like a giant humanoid figure, like a 10-foot-tall human, standing right in the corner, head to the ceiling. When I put that image together in my head, I felt a sudden rush of horror in my body. I jumped across the bed to flick on the lamp, but when the room lit up, there was nothing in that corner of the room. I simply sat there with my heart beating probably 200 beats per minute. I gave myself a couple minutes to calm down before shutting the light back off and laying back down on my side. I still had the headphones in my ears playing the relaxation video. It helped calm me down a little bit. I didn't last even 2 minutes without sitting back up and examining the room again, however. And there it was in the corner, what looked to be a 10-foot-tall humanoid figure.
No!
I crawled to the edge of the bed to get as close a look as I could, before practically shitting myself. I saw what I was sure was a long arm at the side, moving.
And this is why I love Mr. Nightmare. Reasons like that. The shock value, the sound effects, the suspense, the intensity of the situation. Man, this is why arguably Mr. Nightmare is the #1 horror content creator on YouTube. Arguably. He's in the top 3. Just saying. But this is why I love Mr. Nightmare. But in this situation, I'm gone. I would have been gone off the first time because the blackness that you saw in the peephole was a shadow. Probably that same image that you're seeing, well, that same poltergeist or ghost or shadow you're seeing now was in the peephole. And then the second time a knock came and you checked again, it was clear because it wasn't there anymore. Now it's in the room. See, I ain't got time for that. I would have been gone. I'm just saying. But this is why I love Mr. Nightmare. Them jump scares be on point.
I dove to turn on the lamp again, and the corner was empty again. I didn't stick around that time.
I didn't see it the first
I packed
time.
up my few things in a matter of seconds and left the room. I gave the key to the woman and said I'm checking out early.
Hell yeah.
She didn't even say a word as I stormed out that front door of the hotel.
She used to it.
I continued driving until I found another hotel, where I fell fast asleep with no supernatural disturbances.
I'm pretty sure I was just being stupid, and he showed that shadow the first time. I didn't see it in the darkness, but that second time, I did. But she's used to people leaving early because of that. It ain't
As
no
a
shock
kid,
to
I had
her.
a bedroom on the first floor. Money was a little tight, and our mom was taking care of 4 kids. I was the youngest, so I had the little room. My room was next to the living room, a small square room with wood flooring. There were 2 big vents in the floor in this room in 2 opposite corners, and also 2 vents in the ceiling. My bed took up half the room. Like I said, it was a very small room. I'll keep it short and straight to the point. I was 13 years old doing my homework on my bed since I didn't have a desk in my room when I heard a child's laughter. I went outside my room to look around the living room and kitchen for any of my siblings. Everyone seemed to be upstairs though. Usually in these kinds of stories, you hear people say they just chalk these kinds of things up to their imagination.
Right.
But that's stupid. I definitely heard that laughter. There's no way I imagined something so clear.
I was just tired.
I continued my homework, but with one ear perked up listening for any other suspicious sounds. Eventually enough time passed that I was able to move past it. In fact, it seems it was just about when I was able to get over it that I heard it again. A child's laughter. Or more so, giggling, I should say.
Yeah?
This time it went on longer. It wasn't coming from outside my room. It was
no.
somewhere in the room.
Yeah.
I figured one of my brothers were hiding from me. I followed the sound of the laughter, strangely, to the corner of my room.
That's why you need to get out of the room.
Then I looked down at the vent on the floor. It was coming from inside the vent.
Don't look in there.
I got down on my knees and pressed my ear up to the vent. There was no more giggling at this point, though. When there was a silence for a few seconds, I lifted my ear from the vent and then put my eyes up to the vent to get a peek inside. It took me a second to realize I was staring at a pair of eyes looking back up at me. I shrieked like a girl and screamed for my mom. She came storming into my room moments later, but of course the noises were gone, as were the eyes.
Man.
My mom thought I was going crazy due to a lack of sleep.
Right.
I refused to sleep in that room, so she let me sleep in her room that night. That went on for a week, actually, before she put her foot down. I spent the next 4 years in that same bedroom before we moved.
Huh?
Nothing paranormal ever happened to me since that one particular
Oh,
night.
no. I'm so good on all that. You just don't understand. Oh! Really? Damn it, Mr. Nightmare. Altogether, the story that got me was the second one. Because it's like... How do I explain it? You were in your motel room, lights off, trying to go to sleep, and you see something 10 feet tall standing in the corner. You thought you did. You turn on the lights, it's gone. You turn the lights back off after investigating, open your eyes up a little while later, and it's there again. But this time it doesn't immediately disappear after you turn on the light or after you actually see it. And at that point, I'm gone, man. I am checking out early. And that's why that receptionist, that lady at the desk, was so nonchalant, calm, and cool-headed, because she's used to it. She knows that motel or hotel, whichever one it was, she knew that place was haunted. She's used to people checking out early because of the supernatural activity that is occurring in this place. She's used to it. So why would she trip because you say you're leaving early? She knows why you're leaving early. She knows why there's only 2 people in that hotel or motel, including you. Who was this other person? Was it actually a person, or was she referring to the ghost / the shadow that was creeping on you? I mean, I'm assuming it was another person, and then there was the shadow that, you know, doing all the paranormal activity stuff. But I don't know. But, nah, she was used to that player. And then the last story, come on, man. In the last story, it was bad enough you put your ear to the vent, but when you looked down in the vent, I knew you was gonna see something. I knew it. The suspense was rising too much. The anticipation was killing me. I knew that as soon as you looked into that vent in the floor, even worse, it was on the floor, that you was gonna see something. Either you were gonna see something inside of the vent like you did, or as soon as you would have got up and turned around, there would have been something standing right behind you. Nah, I'm good. I keep telling y'all this. It's getting old, so I'm probably not going to keep saying it anymore. If there's paranormal activity occurring in your home, in your apartment, in your trailer, wherever you live, you need to go. And if you really don't want to leave or can't financially leave at that moment in time, get preachers, pastors, all that to come and do, or get a team to come investigate it. You don't need to investigate it. If somebody's going to get hurt, hell, let it be them. Let them get fucked up. Don't let it be you. I ain't investigating no paranormal activity. The only time I investigate is if I think a physical person is in my house, an intruder. But if I feel like it's paranormal, you know, activity occurring, oh, I'm gone, dude. It's a nice house. It's a nice house, but it ain't worth getting spirited away for. That is it for this video, y'all. If you like the reaction, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video. And if you really liked it, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. And tap that bell icon so you will be notified every time I drop new content, which I do on a weekly basis. There will be links in the description to Mr. Nightmare's channel, a link to this original video, and links to all of my social medias so you guys can connect with me and see the personal life that I don't post to YouTube. That is all I have for y'all this time around. Your boy Steph is